Yo, you tuning in to the Notion Podcast. I'm your host, Dizzy D Spill, with my co-host in the building,
Jelani Evans.
You already know what it is. You're tuning into an episode of Boss Talk. We ain't done one of these in a minute, huh?
Nah.
Yeah.
Been out the way.
Yeah, it be like that, man. Sometimes you gotta be out the way. You gotta have like a little break between things. I'm personally one of those people where if it ain't really nothing to talk about business-wise, I'm not gonna force it. You know how some people feel like they got a schedule? Kind of like some of these other people that do podcasting and stuff. They force the episode. I don't like doing that. I like to have real issues to talk about. Otherwise, you just putting out content to make sure you got the content. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Don't even trip. That's R2D2 cleaning up. But
I got a topic. I'm just not gonna discuss it right now. But I got. Well, because it's like I've been doing some research, and I'm currently dealing with something from an entrepreneur, business owner perspective.
Right.
And everything seems like you're treading new waters when you're an entrepreneur. But I'm definitely treading new waters, and I don't really. It's kind of a uneasy feeling.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to explain it. It's wild though, because like I feel like it might be time to transition and make some things happen. On the same breath, I'm a little reluctant.
Mm-hmm.
They say change is good, but it's not always easy.
Change is good if you break 100.
I mean, if you breaking it for me, if I'm breaking 100, it's bad.
Yeah, you breaking the money up. Change is definitely good.
I definitely been doing some research, and I got a topic. Man, because it's heavy hitting, and it's gonna make a lot of entrepreneurs for sure look at their business differently. Okay. So
for sure.
Yeah, but I don't want to, not prematurely. It's
Yeah. I dig it.
Everything is well thought out.
Yeah, I dig it. I mean, it's interesting that you bring that up because with some of the things we want to discuss today, one of the reports was. We're living in one of the biggest bubbles ever as far as the economy and on the brink of a recession, even though it already feels that way. It already feels like we're dealing with that based off of, I guess, past recessions we've lived through, or the last recession that we lived through.
The thing about it is this, right? It's just crazy. Because we've been living in a recession. It's only being deemed a recession now because it's really affecting companies and starting to affect the 1%ers. So now it's a recession. When it wasn't affecting them, it wasn't a recession. We were just having hard times. Let them tell it. Right? But now we're at a point where it's affecting everybody.
Right.
And so now it's finna be a recession. But I mean, that bubble you're talking about, it's a tech bubble, that... I mean, if we're being specific as far as like stocks, tech, AI, everything surrounding that, like it's been this big bubble because you think about all of these new inventions and
AI and
gadgets and all of these things that are on the way, and
a lot of smart vehicles and
and all that stuff that they're forecasting. So I mean, from a standpoint of investing, it's been a major tech bubble. I mean, that's where we're headed. On the same breath, we're not there yet.
All right.
And it's finna get ugly because, once the bubble pops, everybody's gonna feel it. Yeah,
I mean, a lot of times when you have black swan investors speaking on a potential recession or a bubble, they always like to reference the .com era because of everything that happened around that time, right? And I mean, it's always good to look at history, but since we've just been exposed to the world and actually been conscious of it, it seems like the predictions have never really been spot on or close. It's always like a left field situation. You know what I mean? When you look at the pandemic of 2020, that was like left field. When you look at the housing crisis, I mean, unless you were paying attention to real estate, that was like left field how that affected the country, with the bailouts and things of that nature. So, here again, there's this prediction based off of how the climate is right now, but something totally different can happen to where it's like, wow, we were so worried about this, but this ended up being the culprit to, flip everything on its head. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that happens. But I mean, like, in this day and age, it's just compacting issues.
Yeah, for sure.
So, but what we're referring to is Mark, was it Spitznagel?
Yeah, man, I'm just gonna go whatever you said because I was struggling when I was reading the article.
A bearish investor, and he predicts that stocks may soon lose over half their value in a sell-off. Excuse me. He's saying a recession could happen by the end of the year, fueled by the government's $34 trillion debt. Basically saying the greatest bubble in human history is close to bursting. And once that happens, a recession will be in full effect. That's wild to think that. They say that if you invest in stocks, like, your money's a little more secure, right?
Mm-hmm.
Lose half their value in a sell-off. Could you imagine losing half the value of your portfolio?
I just want to know when we're gonna like lose half of debt. You know what I'm saying? Half of bills. Things of that nature. Man. So
it's
always the income, man. Golly.
Apparently there was some chaos that happened on was it Friday?
Yeah.
Was it Friday?
Yeah. Friday.
It was a Friday when that happened, right? Yeah. July 19th?
Yes. The baby Y2K that was about over 20 years late.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you know what? It screwed over a lot of people. Like, if you were traveling around that time, or people at work was excited about it, or people that had to telework. But like, if you were traveling or say you were working on something important, and that happened, it screwed some people over. They said like thousands of flights were affected. So that means
all around the nation.
Yeah, around the nation. It wasn't one spot. That everybody was affected. So if you had like a
banks,
the banks right there, not being able to have see.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Like, to think somebody can hack into something and shut down a portion of the country, or at least send it into chaos.
But everything ain't what it seems. I have my conspiracy theories.
Oh, it was intentional?
Mm-hmm. I have a theory. Of course I can't prove it. It's not backed by gold, but I have a theory that our country could possibly be testing some things out just in case we have a real cyber attack. What would happen? How quick can we recover? And because just like any other country or any civilization, you're gonna try things to see what happens.
So they ran a bomb drill like in school?
Yeah,
bruh.
Yeah,
they didn't tell us.
That's what my theory is, because we're talking about something that is supposed to be so protected. I mean, you have people in the military and everywhere else that literally work cybersecurity. You have private owned cybersecurity, then you have government cybersecurity, you have company cybersecurity, you have all of these different pockets in departments in different industries, right? And just like, who are we dealing with? Are we dealing with Brainiac from Superman? One person? Nah, man. And usually it isn't one person. Usually it's a team of people. I remember when the PS4 came out, and I got one, right? And I couldn't get online for like a few days because
your Wi-Fi was off.
No, a group of people hacked the PlayStation Network. They went by the Lizard Squad. And they hacked the system to where people wasn't able to get on for a few days.
That's crazy. Listen to this. Tech outage causes disruptions worldwide. Airlines, hospitals, people's computers were affected after CrowdStrike, a cybersecurity company, sent out flawed software update.
So that means somebody there was probably mad that they was getting laid off and said, "I got you." Actually, I got everybody. Because how you sending out flawed software?
The thing about it is,
isn't that tested and tested and tested and tested before you send it out?
A bigger issue is one company being over that much stuff.
Absolutely. That's very concerning.
Do you get what I'm saying?
That's very concerning.
Oh, such and such sent out, bro. It's That's like everybody. Whether you think you're on Android or Apple, iOS, like it's almost like regardless of what you think you're using, higher up,
right?
Like say like the servers that the phones run on,
right?
They're all connected and they're ran by crowd. You see what I'm saying? And then this is ran by crowd, and then this is ran by CrowdStrike.
Right.
And so then they send out this update, and then out of nowhere everything goes down because while subdivision might be something else, higher up everything is controlled and ran by this one specific software.
Absolutely.
And then when they send the update for that software, it wrecks everything.
And you also got to remember, in between,
there should be more securities in place. I'm sorry.
There should be.
Get it.
And that's why I was naming like all the different security points with like the feds have their cybersecurity, private companies have their cybersecurity. There's literally private companies that are cybersecurity, right? But let's not forget, before this happened, how many times have we seen an article about somebody breaching AT&T data or breaching some company's data, and now they got to reach out to all of the customers and somebody breached this and that? You know what I'm starting to think? That we are living in such a dependent time that this is news, because this wouldn't have mattered 30 years ago.
Bro, I just read a part of this article that's wild.
What's that?
The fallout, which was immediate and inescapable.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Highlighted the brittleness of global technology infrastructure. The world has become reliant on Microsoft and a handful of cybersecurity firms, like CrowdStrike. So when a single flawed piece of software is released over the internet, it can almost instantly damage countless companies and organizations that depend on the technology as part of everyday business. And it's crazy because I say that because you were just finna say about how dependent the world has become on technology. And I think that article ties in because it's like so many companies have transitioned, shifted. Everybody wants to be, you know what I'm saying, on the internet and files, electronic, no more paper. You know what I'm saying? Everything, a lot of things are paperless now. Right. Because, save the trees, I guess. I think it saves money, but whatever. So all of these companies are now transitioning and depending on on technology. The average individual is dependent on technology. Like, think about it. If your Wi-Fi goes down, what happens around here?
No internet. You don't watch TV. Yeah, you're not playing video games. You're not watching TV. You can't use any of your Echo devices. But me personally, I would be okay without internet.
But what I'm saying though is like the fact that, because if the Wi-Fi goes down, my house, there's no TVs, no computers, no laptops, like you said, no video games, no speakers, you know what I'm saying? Then you got to operate the phones off of actual like data from the phone company. Like, you do that, your phone almost go into shock. Oh, yeah. Like, what is it? What's it? 5G?
Yeah, what are you doing? Well,
where's the Wi-Fi?
Well,
we're moving at a snail's pace.
That Netflix movie, Leave the World Behind, definitely put some perspective there for those. I would imagine for those that seen it, but the perspective it put for me is, especially with all the things that's going on, data breaches and all of this stuff, I'm kind of resorting back to remembering like what made our generation so unique. So learning phone numbers by heart probably is not a bad idea to have a landline around this these days, because everybody's depending on cell phones.
The crazy thing about it is like having a landline. Like, what phone company is it? Like,
I don't know.
do you remember Pac Bell?
Yes. Yes, I do. Yeah, it was a long time ago, man. Thanks for the reminder. It was a long time ago.
Bruh.
I mean, they there somewhere. You know what I mean?
Pacific Bell.
You know, especially these areas that may not have great towers. I'm pretty sure there's some landlines there, but I just think that going back to remembering certain things that we knew, we had to memorize so many things by heart that we now just save in our phone because we can just go check our phone.
I mean, that's one of the reasons.
Yeah.
The other is like, you know, we might not want to admit we getting old, so my memory ain't what it used to be.
Yeah.
9-1 what, bro? I'm gonna just press the name. I press the name. And
I got you, bro. Notebooks. We did that too,
bro.
All you need is a notebook. If you want like save your contacts,
you gonna carry a notebook with you?
Yeah, man. Hell yeah, get that. If I need GPS, I'm gonna go get an atlas.
He didn't even say a map. There's maps of cities.
Yeah.
The atlas is just gonna show you the world.
Hey man, just in case the maps sell out, you know how it was when the food went short, man.
Nah, son. Yeah.
Atlas or a map, you know what I'm saying? A canteen. What do you have there? What is it called? A compass. I'm telling you, man, these are things we're gonna need, man, if it really goes down and then everything's gets shut down. Now, video games,
I'm not gonna need an atlas.
I will. I might not want to be over here.
Then go over there.
I said might. I still gotta weigh out my options. Can't just put all your eggs in one basket, man. But I mean, because it might be popping over there. Let's look. What if they shut it down over here for a few months and we find out they in Ghana going crazy? You know what I'm saying? I might need to take that boat real quick. But I do think that just knowing what those things mean, like you said, a map, knowing how to use a map, knowing how to use all of these different things, because there's a very high probability that these scenarios could get worse to where it's not just knocked out for a few hours and back. It could be days, it could be weeks, it could be months. And you know, since we've been adults, I swear we've seen more things in our lifetime than our parents have.
Well, because
in a shorter amount of time.
You know why though, right? Outside of certain things that are uncontrollable, like a pandemic.
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean, like uncontrollable things. Yeah.
We're so hell bent on making things smarter and easier
and better. Yeah, innovation, an obsession with innovation for sure.
Well, the thing about it is like doing that in an attempt to not have to do the hard work. Mm-hmm. Right. The generation, I won't say that. Our parents, because the generation before us was that Generation X.
Yeah, that'd be like older siblings and maybe a couple younger uncles, things like that. Gen X.
They still fucking up, so we won't talk. We won't talk about Gen X, but our parents,
the boomers.
Yeah. They didn't run away from hard work. They prided themselves on hard work.
It was also embedded into them because their parents were like even harder workers.
So I mean, like our parents were construction workers. Their parents worked in the mines,
yeah,
like it's
coal
like
miners.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like
they really built bedrock brick by brick.
Their parents, that's who built the pyramid. So it's just like the grind was crazy. Yeah. You feel me? But what I'm saying,
I'm getting cussed out after she watched this episode. Go ahead.
The hard work was there. You know what I'm saying? And then it's just like in an attempt to make things easier and move away from the hard work, we became more dependent on things that in the long run can do us more harm than good. And that's what we're looking at when you talk about tech and being so dependent on it, that when certain things go down, like the Wi-Fi go down think like
Oh, these kids go crazy when the Wi-Fi don't work.
everybody go crazy when the Wi-Fi don't work because everybody is dependent on like even some older
But we
people,
go crazy, like people like us go crazy because it's like we need a heads up or something. I'm in the middle of a match or I'm working on something, and then it'll subside and we'll be like, I'm irritated. But like some people that's only lived off Wi-Fi and internet, their whole world is over.
Right. Then that's what I'm saying, like being so dependent on it that as soon as it's not available, you don't know what to do.
Yeah, you're not available anymore.
Like that's kind of crazy when you look at it like that. And it's like, bro, could you imagine if you had a drop going on in the midst of that? Like, I'm trying to figure out how people, because like that's one of the things I think about. It's like, yo, I wouldn't have been able to operate on my platform, social media, Google.
Or even worse, say you had a drop on, like, for example, you said it happened Friday. Say you had a drop on Thursday and it's a little bit of momentum picking up, and then Friday destroys your momentum. Everything is... Bigger companies, I really don't have that concern for, but small companies that really put in the time, effort, planning, you know what I'm saying, meeting deadlines and dates.
Thing about it, when something like that happens, nobody has a plan for it because it was unexpected.
For sure.
That, like, it was such a high, it was so high level, and it affected so many that when it happened, all anybody could do was scramble and try to figure out a quick fix or a way to rectify the situation or lessen the blow.
For sure.
Because I don't even think you could rectify it in a lot of cases. It was just about trying to lessen the damage. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so it's just, man, I'm going back to paper.
That's what I'm saying, man. I'm telling you, these notebooks notebooks is finna go crazy.
I'm finna get real letters from me.
Telegrams, you finna write with the calligraphy pen and everything.
Man, and you open it up and like, yo, what's up to my subscribers? Like,
my lords. Write you this one. Yeah, it could.
Greetings and salutations.
Yo. Yeah, that's gonna be a crazy time, man. But
it decided Kicks of Sneakers.
So Kicks of Sneakers have released a new drop. That'd be crazy. Going back to drawings. I've
been sketching.
Man, you already ahead of the curve, dog. I ain't mad at it. One thing that I seen that was wild in the midst of what's going on, because you have the tech issues, then you have, baby recession going on, and then
no. We've been dealing with a baby recession. What they're talking about is a full-blown recession that's going to affect everybody.
Oh yeah, that's what I was saying. Like baby recession going on right now as we speak.
Oh, okay,
yeah. And so what I was saying is, like, one of the things that I came across, which when I started reading, it sounded like a good thing, and then I was like, this is stupid. They're talking about how the tax code to change for the working class, people that have regular 9 to 5, they've switched the tax code or the policy to where now, for hardships, you can get up to $1,000 out of your 401k. So that can be medical, which is laughable, right? Dental, that's laughable too, because those two things alone, usually that ticket is going to be well over $1,000. Automotive, maybe, depending on what it is, but it was just those list of hardships, and you won't get that penalty tax for withdrawing. But what I thought was laughable about it is you still got to pay it back within 3 years if you're already in a hardship. Right? We're just gonna assume that you can get back on your feet and pay that back. Not to mention, if you're going that route, you probably have already maxed out credit cards and everything else. Probably done sold your PlayStation, Xbox, shoes, clothes, all of that stuff, right? But it was almost like they, and then they regulate how much you could take out. You know what I'm saying? So again, it's like, I know what the point is, but it's not a help at all. It's really not a help at all.
So, a new law will make it easier for Americans to use their 401ks and other retirement funds as an emergency ATM. Under the new IRS rules, Americans can now withdraw up to $1,000 from their 401ks without any penalties if the money is needed to cover a financial emergency, like you mentioned earlier. Um, it has to be paid back within 3 years, and if you do that, then you won't be taxed on it. If you don't pay it back, then you have to pay the taxes for when you take out of your 401k like normal.
Right.
Yes, savers will still need to pay income tax on the withdrawal if they don't pay it back, and they will not be able to make an additional hardship withdrawal.
Right. So we better hope that that's all you need.
There are some exceptions. You cannot take out so much money that you leave your account balance below $1,000. And the emergency withdrawal is optional for employer plans, meaning that not everyone will be able to participate. The change comes as a growing number of Americans tap their 401ks for emergency purposes amid stubbornly high inflation that has rapidly eroded workers' purchasing power. And that's the state that we're in right now. And they're talking about a bubble bursting and there being a even bigger recession.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because amongst all of this, I shared something to my story recently, and I know you've seen it.
Yeah.
With Pharrell talking about making sure that our house is in order and supporting each other's brands and coming together and unifying and all this stuff. So making sure that we're good. And when he said we're, he was talking about us, our people, our culture.
Yeah.
And I found it funny because I seen a lot of people share that. But I know a lot of people will not actually operate in that. You know what I'm saying?
Man, listen, bro. We've had this conversation. Let me correct myself. We have this conversation several times a month at minimum, right? And I think when we see, because that's cool that Pharrell said that. And it's cool that we even, because Instagram tells us things that we don't care about, but it's interesting at the same time, like who likes what, right? And what I think is interesting about when these things are being shared, I often wonder when I see like my peers, people I'm familiar with, people that are familiar with you and me, and we're all doing the same thing and they like the same things that we like when it comes to unifying and all of this stuff. And I just think, honestly, even though Pharrell said it and he's probably coming from a genuine place, unfortunately, the people that are liking it are full of shit. A lot of people that share it are full of shit because these are things that we've known for forever. Probably before most of us became entrepreneurs or decided to open our own businesses and have our own brands, we've already practiced this behavior prior to that, grade school, high school, just looking out for one another and things of that nature, right? And then somewhere down the line, when you have an idea or you have a dream to build a brand or build a business, everything is seen as competition. And who knows, that maybe that's because of some of these influencers that put a battery in your back, making you think that you got to hustle. But in my experience, and I know you can expound on, your perspective too, I'm starting to look at how we've conducted business and the people that were considered influential and successful and some of the advice that they would give, whether it's at a seminar or an interview. I'm realizing that a lot of them are full of shit. Pharrell's not one of those people, in my opinion. But this whole, you got to grind hard, you got to hustle, you got to be the last person leaving and the first person showing up. And I'm just kind of like, No, you just need group economics. You just need teamwork. You just need to work with each other. You just
strength in numbers.
Yeah, strength in numbers. You know what I mean? When you look at like nature, outside of human nature, just a school of fish. It's a school of fish, right? If you see one animal, you're gonna see a pack of them, or you're gonna see a group of them somewhere, whether you're in a body of water, a desert, a jungle, or whatever, right? And so when I think about this from a business owner standpoint, bro, a lot of people aren't going to get it until it's way too late because it's so easy to support other people as far as in, you know what? Anytime I need this, I'm going to make it my business to go here instead of here. And the funny thing is we already naturally do that. Everybody has a place where they specifically go for groceries, where they get their gas, right? Where they get their hair done, all of that. But people act unfamiliar when it comes to, I'm going to make it my business to go shop over here. This brother over here sells watches. I'm going to get all my watches here. This sister over here sells body butter. I'm only going there. I'm not even going to get it from Target. I'm going to get it there. Now, we got to do our part by actually conducting decent business, which is something that we've struggled with, meaning us, right?
I know a lot of people that do good business. It's just everybody's not willing to unify and collaborate and work together.
I would say that's the biggest issue
for the greater good. I mean, the thing about it is like everybody is so caught up in or focused on their own goals, and I'm not mad at that, but you have to understand that in order to obtain a certain level and push past that, you have to work with others. You have to have a team. And it's not always going to be the guys or the women who are extremely influential or popular or out there like that. You understand what I'm saying? Like, a lot of times it's going to be the people who aren't out there like that because they have the necessary time to invest in their craft. Like, I see a lot of people out socializing, like, regularly, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather be at home doing research and reading up on what it is I'm involved in as far as dealing with kicks or clothing or researching materials or looking at fabrics and things of that nature, because there's still some things up my sleeve. So I spend a lot of my time like doing the research and putting myself in position. Now, do I know individuals who already have that knowledge and are more versed in that area? 100%.
Right.
They also don't really want to work with nobody else. You see what I'm saying? I don't have a problem paying for services, even when we're collaborating, but it's the fact that a lot of people don't care to collaborate. And then that also goes back to something I said earlier, where it was like, well, because certain people aren't as popular, they're not part of a clique. They're not part of
that's
a
what I was
circle.
getting ready to speak on. People will collaborate if they feel like it's going to be more beneficial for themselves. And
that's the thing about it. Like, any collaboration should be beneficial for both parties involved, right? The thing about it, though, is just like, I don't know, collaboration started to become something that was used to help you get to a higher level instead of it being the joy of being able to work with somebody else and you guys bringing your talent together to create something dope. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's like
you have to approach it without the ego, because I think that's where the ego destroys a lot of potential. Because usually there's one person, not usually, but in a lot of cases, what makes collaborating hard is because between the two people that could collaborate, one out of the two has this mentality like they're the wind beneath the wings of the whole process. And that's not necessarily true, because history shows, as far as even in our culture, when you look at how certain people have elevated or they've broke a certain ceiling that we didn't know that they could actually break, or we didn't even know that ceiling exists, it usually came from some form of collaborating with someone or something. You know what I'm saying? And they didn't even know that it was gonna probably turn into what it turned into.
Well, because people used to collaborate for the joy of being able to work with others.
For being genuine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't looked at as a ploy to get ahead.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, it's just like, it's almost like
it almost spoke with genuine integrity to even do it in the first place.
It's like the shoe game, bro. Remember when a collaboration happened that really held weight? It meant something. People had to have that shoe. Now
that was part of the value of the product.
Right. Now everybody's collaborating. Like, there's a collaboration drop every other day, at least once a week.
That doesn't even make any sense when you look at the rhyme or reason to collaborate. Like,
it's not even about it making sense. It's about the value of it being taken away from it. Like, it's not something that's rare anymore. It happens all the time.
Yeah. Because it's driven by popularity. You know, this person is a great singer, so we're gonna do a collaboration.
Right, bro.
Yeah.
Billie Eilish, is that how you say her name? I don't know. I'm not a fan.
Yeah,
but her,
something like that.
Her designing Jordans. Can she shoot J's?
Do you even watch
Does she have a crossover?
My thing is, like, do you even watch basketball? Are you even a fan of the sport? You know what I'm saying?
Like, it's things like that. So it's like, because she's popular, they did the collaboration. Not because she's tied to sports or athletic or anything.
Or
of
even
that
if it
nature.
just made.
Has she showcased a love of collecting sneakers? What's her shoe game like before this collab? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm just curious, and not about the shoes. She was gifted like Dior Jordan 1s. No, what does she really like to wear? You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to digress and get too far away from things though, but collaborations just aren't the same. And then I don't know if that's, I don't think that's a deterrent to wanting to work together and unify.
I think a lot of things that's happened is, as time went on, when you look at, almost like, you ever work somewhere and when you work there, things are just smooth, right? After you get the hang of it and you like the people you work with, people in charge are great. But once people start leaving one by one, the culture changes, right? The rhyme and reason of why things are done changes, and then certain things start happening and certain decisions are made because of ego or because of their own agenda and things of that nature. And I feel like that's what happens now when you think of collaborations. Because if you look at when we were growing up, right, something as simple as like McDonald's or Burger King or whatever, when a new movie was coming out, there was a collaboration there almost that drove people to go see the movie because of the commercials and the special items and things that you got. And then the association made sense. A lot of people, when they're watching a movie, they eat. Or after the movie, they go eat. So those two things coexist. It made sense. And it's like, listen, you're going to make money. I'm going to make money. Or even, for example, for you guys that are comic book fans, a lot of people don't know that Sony and Disney had to work together in order for your beloved Spider-Man to be in a movie. That's pretty much there was an agreement there of who was going to make what money and whatever the case it is, but there had to be some form of collaboration to make it happen, to give the people what they want, and to, you know what I'm saying? Those are things that make sense. When you go get a random person that's not even familiar with the culture, and when I say culture, I'm talking about the essence of what makes something great or popular. When you go get somebody that's not a part of it, and you can clearly tell it's money driven. And then when you bring it all the way down to a smaller scale of like small business owners and brands that are in the same industry, that do share the same beliefs and are even in the same region, and they don't collab because you're not big enough or because you don't bring this type of crowd or whatever the case is stupid. Because you probably know 100 people that don't know anything about me or don't know me, and vice versa. So if you share some of my content, I share some of your content, there's a great chance or a greater chance that I get strangers that pay attention to me or find an interest in what I do, and vice versa for you, right? But what has happened is people that are on a small scale are trying to operate like they're on the top floor, and you're not. And what ends up happening is, by the time they realize it, there's nothing to do. Nobody's paying attention. You've probably used up all of your resources, burnt every single bridge that you never even crossed, and that's what it is. When I think about what's going on right now, because I don't pay attention to a whole lot of certain news, specifically a lot of politics, but you got Trump running again, which many people are saying that he's pretty much got the White House in his hand, especially after the whole attempt on his life and everything like that. They're like, yo, he got it in the bag, right? And then you look at the biggest breaking news is Biden stepping down and just going to finish his term, and let Kamala and whoever she has as a running mate take over, right? So the question is, which I have my answer, the question is, what the hell are we doing And when I'm talking about we, I mean our culture, black folks. Y'all want to pay
That's-
attention? Y'all want to pay attention to that shit, or do y'all want to pay attention to what Pharrell's talking about?
Well, I mean, people share what Pharrell said because it was cool and it's just like the thing to do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like actually like thinking about what's going on and look like honestly, when something like this happens, most people look at home and look at self and think about ways to protect and maintain that. They're not looking to reach out or connect or work with unless it's already you're already in the midst of something, or unless I see that could bring me instant value. And that's crazy because like I feel like those words don't go together. Instant value.
Yeah, I agree.
You get one.
I agree.
Instant value.
I agree.
That doesn't
Cheap luxury.
like that, you know what I'm saying? Like it just doesn't. It just does. They don't go together. And so it's like having things in order in your house is 100% where you need to be, but also having things in order and having a community to lean on.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing about it. I feel like that's what comes with collaborating with a genuine intent and working with a lot of other individuals who you might be like-minded with, but might not have the following or the platform that you have.
Right.
Because these are the same people that you can lean on and have a community, and that's what you really want. You want a community. You want people that you can connect with, work with, talk to. Iron sharpens iron, build with, grow with, if necessary, lean on, and vice versa. And you get that when you actually work with people and you look to unify and have some type of community versus just doing what you think may bring value and not really having people you can fall back on or work with or lean on. And I mean, like, that's just like, I mean, basically you're creating a family.
Yes.
Right? And then, you know, if you're thinking about what's going on right now, what you're stating, what's happening with the politics, like, you need family.
Yeah.
Because that's who you're going to be able to rely on and fall back on in the midst of everything else going on. Right?
Well, when you say family, I got to add something to that because we're talking, when I'm assuming, but when you say family, you're talking about that family that you built on top of the family you already got. And I think that's a good point to mention because you constantly need, you know, that connection with people. And it ain't just about having this family because of, yo, you know, you got something I need, but it is just like sometimes your uncle is the best person for advice, or your mom is the best person for direction, your dad is the best person for wisdom.
Like I said, iron sharpens iron.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, it's wild to think about how crazy things are getting with the politics. I mean, if you ask me, I feel like Trump already got it in the bag. But things are wild right now, whether we're talking politics or we're talking tech, or, you know, I'm like,
you know what's wild
just
to me?
Overall, life is getting crazier. So having your stuff in order, having a family, a community, people you can rely on, that's gonna hold more weight than it has in a long time.
That's what's wild to me about what you're saying is that when you say he's already got it in the bag, I agree with you, right? But just from listening to what you said, was wild to me is how people are more focused on that. People are still dependent on, I'm talking about people that are well off, people that, you know, or at least doing all right. They, with all of this wealth of knowledge that we get with reading articles and, you know, of course, debates and all of these different facts coming out, they're still dependent on a political party to secure their future, their children's future, and their grandchildren's future, their business future, whatever it is, instead of what you're saying, you're that family or that community or that network of people that helped you get to where you are today. Isn't that weird? That's to me, that's crazy.
Not if you've been brainwashed and you in a brainwashed.
How long do we call it brainwash before we just realize that people just want, just because people are operating off of feelings. Most people operate off feelings more than belief. You know that? They operate off of feelings more than belief. because of what was said at that moment, or how you felt when they said it, or how the debate went. But then when you sit down and you look at, is this aligned? Is this individual or these individuals or this group aligned with what I believe on a daily? No, it's not. You just go off of, okay, well, I like these perks better than what these perks are offering, so I'm going to stay loyal to that. They don't even match what you believe.
Well, and that's what I was just going to say. Like, for instance, black people is Democrat, vote Democrat, Democrat, Democrat. Why?
Bro, I asked the question on both sides.
Well, yeah, I would get to that, but I would initially ask why Democrat, because honestly, I don't see how they have helped. I feel like they have kept us in the same position.
Hell yeah, and added more damage to. So what I think it is, right? I think culturally, our people like to feel good. Remember when I said belief and feelings? Who do I feel good about? Do I feel good about, at the time, who was it? Do I feel good about what Bush is talking about, or do I feel good about what Al Gore or Senator Kerry, the two people he ran against, right? Who do I feel good about?
You know what?
And you know why a lot of our culture hasn't felt good about Republicans or the Republican Party is because they've never done something that most Democrats have done.
Pander?
Exactly.
Man, check this out. First and foremost, if you guys think that when you go vote, you're voting for the president, you're idiots. The presidents are elected by Congress. So the people that you put in office for Congress are the ones who deem who's the president. That popular vote that they do, where everybody goes out and they vote and they show their sticker or the little I voted today, and you feel great about yourself because you did your job as a citizen, and those votes count for nothing.
They're not backed by gold.
Congress appoints the president. So if the majority of people who hold office are Republicans, guess what?
It's over.
If the majority of people who are Democrats are in office, guess what? Unless, I mean, at the end of the day, man, right and left wing of the same bird. So at the end of the day, they all have the same goals. They're just going about it differently.
That's why I posed the question, like, what are we doing? We shouldn't even be talking. Like, as a culture, black folks shouldn't even be invested in that, because either wing has never served us at all.
Politics ain't never benefited us.
Right.
We weren't even in the room when politics was really becoming a thing.
Right.
We were considered a fraction of a man.
Right.
So politics ain't never been anything that, now don't get me wrong, do we need more of us in office, in a room, in Congress, senators? 100%.
Oh, all the way. I mean,
congressmen, congresswomen, 100%.
Yeah.
All of that. Yes.
Yep.
That's the only way that there's going to be change, and then that's when we should start taking an interest, when we start to see some familiar faces in the room. And I don't mean like, oh, I know, bruh, but I know, bruh.
Mm-hmm.
So until that happens, I'm not really concerned. And it's crazy because, like, all right, Joe Biden stepped down, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he, what's the word that they use? I forgot the word that they use when they say, basically he chose Kamala to run in his place.
Mm-hmm.
And instantly, I can already tell you how this is going, right? Well, because now it's a black and white thing.
Yep.
Just that quick.
Yep.
And it's like, everybody's like, oh, I'm voting for Kamala. I'm not. I mean, it don't matter who we vote for anyway, but I'm not. And I'm not doing that, and it has nothing to do with her color or her being a female. I don't know her.
Oh, I do.
You do?
Yeah. I got a close friend of mine that's told me about a lot of politicians that have came out of California, because his dad was heavily involved, and his dad knew a lot of these people in their earlier stages, right? And so this person that I know, they have pictures with everybody that's involved: Kevin Johnson, Kamala, Gavin, all of them. And so he's giving me a little bit of backstory, right? But then that pushed me, or made me actually look into, her career. And unfortunately, man, she's put a lot of people away, man, and been a part of putting a lot of people away who shouldn't be there, and with certain laws, and just the reputation isn't that great. See, when Obama ran, people didn't know him either, but he also didn't have the reputation for people to attack him through, politically. That's why when you look at the things they brought up about Obama, it's laughable compared to the scandals of past presidents and current ones, and ones possibly getting reelected.
The crazy thing about, all right, so Trump never got shot. The doctor said that he didn't even need stitches. And what gunshot wound don't need stitches when you got blood like that?
I'm really trying to think.
Yeah.
You think it was a melee attack, or?
The crazy thing about Biden stepping down, this happened like a week ago. Because me, I be going down rabbit holes and reading articles, researching and whatnot.
Like, you said that again? You said this happened a week ago? Oh, no, your search happened a week ago.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was about to be like, yo, you got some real information. He stepped down a week ago?
Probably like within the last week.
Right.
Within the last week, I read this article, or I came across this article. I didn't read it in full, because when I saw the article, it made me go do a different search. Mm-hmm. And the article was talking about Kamala choosing a running mate. Now, when I saw this article, I was like, she's running for president? So then I go to do research, because I didn't know she was running for president, and I couldn't find anything that said she was running for the 2024 election. Now you fast forward, now all of a sudden Joe Biden's stepping down, and he's selected Kamala Harris to run it. And I'm just like, but I seen an article within the last week that said, and now, like, basically what I'm saying, all of this stuff is planned. All of this stuff is planned. They're executing the plan right in your face, from the fake assassination of Biden stepping down and everything in between. Kamala being selected and all, and she's gonna lose, and she'll be the front runner for the next election. All of this stuff is being played out right in your face, and they're playing with all you guys, and you guys are just like, oh well, yeah, I guess it makes sense. Yeah, Biden's too old. Yeah, Kamala, I'll vote for her. You stupid.
You know what?
You're stupid.
You know what? It is stupid to me about politics and people that are heavy into it. I'm not gonna call y'all stupid. I'm gonna be a little bit nicer than Jelani. I'm gonna call y'all that off mic. How loyal you guys are to the party regardless. Like, how you should be more loyal to your beliefs, your personal beliefs, than any party. That's the one thing as a person, you should never compromise. And I will listen to people that either vote Democrat or vote Republican, and I'm gonna keep it real. People that vote Republican, they loyal as hell to the party, from what I've witnessed. But it's astonishing to me that people will still say, you know what, I'm still going to vote my party regardless, because I just don't like them over there. And it's like, you guys literally have a clear understanding of what gang violence is. Because that's literally what it is. You know what I'm saying? Regardless, I'm going to hate that other side. Even though the beef happened 30 years before I was born, I'm going to hate you because I'm from this area and you're from that area. It's the same thing.
Says the Laker fan who doesn't like the Celtics.
Well, I actually hate the Kings, but I hate the Kings for a lot of different reasons.
But it's just like with sports teams, bro.
Yeah.
A lot of people are diehard sports fans, and they will die on a mountain for their team.
And that's crazy to me, man. You know what?
It's the same.
I gotta correct myself. I don't hate the Kings.
You want to know what's even crazier?
I hated them.
You want to know what's even crazier?
Correct myself. What's up?
Politics is just like sports, like basketball. All right, so think about this, right? LeBron and Carmelo go at each other's necks on the court.
Mm-hmm.
After the game, They go have dinner. They kicking it, right?
Mm-hmm. They practice on the off season with each other.
Yeah,
the whole night. Got each other's phone number. They hang.
Each
Yeah, the kids know each other. Yeah.
It's them and two other guys.
But we over here ready to throw hands.
They got their own little crew.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's like LeBron, CP3, Carmelo. I forgot who the fourth person
D-Wade.
is. Okay, it might be. Yeah. But you get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and y'all over here, I'm a Republican. I'm a Democrat. Like, really?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yep.
You want to know what's crazy? While y'all doing all that, behind the scenes, Joe Biden and Donald Trump got a handshake. That's wild to me.
You know when I understood how that worked, I was fairly young. You remember when Ali came out with Will Smith? The movie Ali. Mm-hmm. Have you seen it a couple times? Mm-hmm. Do you remember how Ali would go crazy at Howard Cosell?
Yeah.
And then when the cameras was off,
they're the best of friends.
Yeah, he was like, "How you doing? You doing all right? Yeah, man, I'm doing good, man." And that threw me off.
Apparently, that was the first person to call Ali to let him know that he won.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
like they was boys.
Yeah,
but on camera, man,
it's an act. It's a front.
Yeah, it's a front. It's to drive emotion and all of that.
That's what politics is all about.
And that's what a lot of exactly. They call it fearmonger and everything else, but it's to trigger whatever emotion they don't care what emotion you trigger as long as it's triggered, so you're tuned in and involved. But the crazy thing about it is that once when I seen that, I started looking at so much differently when I watch TV, or even when I would see, like, who knows how many of these beefs are planned and really fake in any type of entertainment or anything that has anything to do with social media or TV.
Nah, bro. Kendrick really hates Drake.
No, we know that. We know that. I said how many. I didn't say the beef. I didn't say the beef of the last 30 years, man.
Okay, I'm about to say, I don't know, because that Ether track was, I think Nas had hollow points for Jigga. I don't know.
They're friends now. They're friends now. I don't see Drake and Kendrick ever.
I hope not.
That's literally Democrats and Republicans the way it should be. Maybe in the earlier days of politics and policies being written, it was like that. But somewhere down the line, it was like, no, you are like us. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it is laughable seeing like people so dedicated. I literally sent that to one of my partners when he sent me something about politics. I was like, some people, are just part of the party because it's a party, man. And that's a double entendre. I'm just focused now. I'm just gonna try to do my best as an individual and as somebody that cares about my community and my culture to invest my time and energy in that. I mean, even with voting here locally, I think we have a better shot and we can make some things happen with numbers than out there. And for a lot of people, y'all need to understand that while y'all arguing over the Democrats and Republicans and all that other stuff and who's the next president, vice president, I've said this before, Jelani said this before, it's really the stuff that matters is the laws and things being written stateside and in your county. That's the things that's going to affect you the most.
Everybody needs to be getting everything in order and downsizing to a certain extent. And I mean, like, business owners more than anything.
I was about to say, bro, I can't move right now. But go ahead.
Nah, I would say I meant business owners, and I meant things like checking to see where you can like cut costs, downsize, minimize operations in certain areas. Because I mean, like, with the way things are going and with where we're headed, overseeing your finances and making sure everything is in order and you're not mismanaging funds in any shape, form, or fashion is extremely important. Because if you're a small business, funds are already, tight.
Yeah.
Last thing you want to be doing is trying to maintain a business in the midst of a recession, a full-on recession, right? And then on top of that, having a lot of irons in the fire that could potentially lose you money because you're expecting a high turnaround, or a lot of sales, or expecting to do a lot of numbers, and the disposable income just isn't there for the masses because of the inflation, because of the oncoming recession that it doesn't look like we're going to be able to dodge. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, from a business owner perspective, making sure that you have things in order, you are downsizing, and you aren't doing anything that's going to cost you L's later on down the road. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm definitely looking at falling or scaling back some things, I guess you could say. Just until I have a better idea of the climate, as far as the recession and money goes and things of that nature, because I'm already experiencing less business due to the heightened inflation. You see what I'm saying? And so in the midst of that, there's certain things that I've already cut as far as the business goes, and I'm not missing it, because you have to look at how much I'm spending versus how much it's making me. And if you're spending more than you're making, is it really worth it?
I mean, you have those first few years with starting businesses, but when you're well into your business, it's hard to even try to prove if that's even worth it, because, you know, in this climate that we're in right now, a loss just isn't a regular loss, man. It's detrimental.
A loss is a setback.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because you're saying that, but that's just in general. It hits even harder as a small business owner, as an entrepreneur, as a creator, as a creative.
Yeah.
It hits even harder because 9 times out of 10, there is very small room, if any, for error and losses. So any loss will be a major setback, because it not only was I didn't plan for it, being able to withstand and bounce back from them will take even longer than it used to, due to the climate and where we're headed. So preventive measures, right? That's the best way to go about it. Preventive measures instead of trying to recover. Like, take that, like, think about that. Prevent instead of having to recover.
You know what I thought about, bro? And it literally just came to my mind right now. So for y'all listening, don't get mad because I don't have details and all that other drama. But what I think is that, just as far as an idea, I kind of wonder, what if, and I'm going to expound on it maybe more later on off mic, and maybe we turn it into an episode later. What if a lot of these small businesses started copying a small formula that we see all the time with merging businesses? What could that do for our economy culturally? If certain, obviously businesses that made sense, we can't do things that don't make sense, but that probably needs to happen in order to kind of keep that dollar circulating in our group, whatever. Some of us might need to merge in certain instances. Share those resources, share that, the manpower and workload and things of that nature, to try to make it through and still have some form of business. That might need to happen in certain industries. I can't say which ones.
Well, see, the thing about it is, like, I don't know how well that will work based on the people involved. The businesses might make sense, but if people don't share the same work ethic and have not similar visions, but at least similar goals, because it's like everybody can't work together, even though the businesses might make sense. A lot of people just don't mesh well.
This ain't for everybody, bro.
Nah, well,
it's not even. I'm gonna be honest.
Entrepreneur isn't for everybody.
Yeah, and it's not even. It's not even for half. But what I do think is, there are a substantial amount of entrepreneurs and small business owners out there. Some of them in same scenarios like us, that if certain things were right, it would make sense to, and it would even be beneficial. This isn't, when I say that, this isn't for people that's playing games, man. This ain't for the people that's like, well, I'm only rocking with these people over here of this, or you gonna give me that, or these are my prices. I don't do. Y'all keep doing what y'all doing, and two fingers. I hope you do well. I'm talking about,
if it's done right, the power of collaborating, unifying, merging can be huge.
Huge.
Like, I feel like if a couple of individuals that I know, if they had really went all in with me when I started doing this back then, I feel like things would be different, but they would be bigger.
Think you would have shaked up the industry in a different type of way?
Would have made more noise.
For sure.
Would have made more noise, and the outcome, the output would definitely be different. I can't say better. I can't because I don't know. But I can't say it would be different because, I mean, bro, 2 hits is better than 1.
For sure.
Right? So 3 hits is going to be better than 1. You know, so it's just like, man, having more eyes and more brains on a situation and looking to solve problems and work together and collaborate, man, that's huge. It brings about a whole different energy.
You know, I'm going to speak on this real quick before you get out of here, because I want to say this, and I don't know if I've ever said it clearly, or shit, I don't know if I've said it at all on any of our shows. I've been a part of something like that numbers of times, and it's never worked out.
Did everybody have the same work ethic?
No. But you know what the crazy part was? It wasn't even really the work ethic that made things difficult. It was something that we talked about earlier. Ego. Ego is usually why a lot of things didn't work. And for past partners and people that I've worked with whatever, teammates, whatever you want to say, they probably have had some thoughts about me and the way I operate. But one thing I can say, because we all have our perspectives, at the end of the day, it's perspectives and then there's the truth, right? But at the end of the day, anytime I was involved with any kind of group interaction, I made sure that I brought real value to whatever it is that we were doing. And I made it my business to make sure that I was not the reason that the boat sank. And a lot of people can get so caught up in their feelings or their ego, they don't give a damn what happens to the boat as long as they're off of it. And that's what separated me from a lot of people I've worked with. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Because and the reason, and I didn't even know this piece of literature at that time because I felt like I believe that that's just who I've always been. But the piece of literature that I heard that coexists with the way I've moved and still move to this day was Nipsey Hussle. And I don't think he's the author, but that's who I heard it from. He said, nobody's bigger than the program. And I think that if you're going to merge, or if you want to be a part of a community with genuine intent, you have to understand you are not bigger than the program.
Bro, no, I ain't team.
Well, Kobe said there's he and that motherfucker.
Yeah.
But anyways, but going to with the point you're saying, yes, that was campaign to a lot of young kids to understand that this does not work without a team.
Ego, a person's sense of self-esteem or self-worth. Self-esteem, confidence in one's own worth or abilities. So at the end of the day, basically to think you better than others. Right?
Yeah.
I was just breaking it down for the people.
Yeah. I mean, that's important because a lot of people throw words around these days, and it doesn't, the way they're throwing the word, it doesn't, by definition, make any sense with what their point is.
Yeah, that's why I do that.
Yeah.
Because I hate people doing that. I've done it once or twice, unintentionally.
Yeah, unintentionally. But most people, they do it to try to sound sophisticated and
sound smart and end up sounding dumber.
Yeah, way worse.
That's crazy.
That's wild. That's why we need a group to help. We need to help you because you look crazy out here.
It's crazy because it's like I'm sitting here and I'm trying to think, and it's just like, I don't want to say I don't have, everybody has an ego.
Yeah, for sure.
I just don't feel like mine gets in the way.
Nah, I think, okay, can I share with you what I think getting in the way is?
Yeah.
When a person's ego is getting in the way, to me, it's not really about your attitude or shit that you say. It's about what you do and your consistency. Right?
Oh, I'm an asshole then.
Yeah, well, when you, no, what I mean about what you do is just like, all right, we got to be at A, B, C, D on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. You're there Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and you're showing up, and you're doing everything that's a part of trying to build whatever it is that we're building. You know what I'm saying? To me, that's what I look at. So yeah, you could be a person who's like, man, I don't like the way they talk sometimes, or I don't like what they do. But are you here? Because you can have a person that's polite, cool people, good energy, but never involved. So what use are you? Right? So I'm looking at, do you show up? What are you contributing when you show up? What's your understanding of the plan? What's your history? Because I know people that love to start things and never finish. I have some people that started something and they stay on that one thing and do nothing to help it grow. They don't water the plant, aka the idea that they spawned, right? So I'm looking at those things, because when you look at things that work, and it's kind of sad looking back on it, but when you look at that Bulls documentary and you look at how that documentary broke down how each individual was important at different time periods of when the Bulls won those titles, it was like, okay, that's dope. Well, now that they're old and gray and, you know, all that other stuff, you're seeing a lot of ego and things now, but there was an understanding back then when they were doing what they were doing, regardless of what they were saying.
Ego from one person.
Well, yeah.
Scottie Pippen. Sorry, Scottie Pippen.
And that was depressing, you know, without going too deep into it. That was depressing because that was my favorite player, you know, around that era. But the point is when you do see a team reach success, there's always the problem child, or there's always some discrepancies. But at some point in time when they were feeling that success, they had an understanding nobody was bigger than the program. Straight up. Now, you could talk whatever you want to talk and say whatever you want to say after you've accomplished what you've accomplished, but
it's time to work.
Yeah, and that's what was being produced, and that's
even Rodman. You know, he went to Vegas and partied. He came to practice and put up numbers that game. Like, he worked.
Yeah, I wish I could do that.
Program.
Yeah, nobody's bigger than the program.
I'll be back though. I'll be back in time. Do something.
That's how you show that you ain't bigger than the program. That's a fun way of doing it.
I'll be back. Like, I'll be in time.
Yeah.
Then we're gonna win.
They don't make them like they used to, brother. Anyways, you know, I'll leave that with the conclusion. Nobody's bigger than the program. Neither are y'all. That's why we finna get out of here. Anyways, we appreciate you tuning in as always. This is your boy Dizzy D Spill here with my co-host in the building,
Jelani Evans.
And you've been tuning into the Notion Podcast special episode Boss Talk. You already know where to find us. All major platforms. Please leave commentary. We love to hear what you think. We love to hear what you would like to hear from us. It's crazy times. Stick together. Do what you need to do. Understand you're not bigger than the program. Until next time. Peace.
Don't check for me unless you got to check for me.